We are joined with Aaron Walsh. He's the director of the Immersive Education Initiative in Boston College faculty, where he teaches graphics, virtual reality, and video games for the Woods College of Advancing Studies. Welcome, Aaron.
Hi, thanks, Rich. Thanks for having me.
I know our sim we hosted last, I guess it was 2 weeks ago, the Immersive Ed Consortium discussion. Tell us a little bit about the Immersive Ed Initiative and a little bit about the Education Grid project.
Oh, certainly, be happy to. The Immersive Education Initiative is an international collaboration of faculty, teachers, researchers, and people in companies with interest in virtual spaces for education and training. And we launched it last year, not even a year ago, and today we have over 200 members, and it's growing at a rate of between 2 and 5 new members a week. And what we're focused on is 10 specific areas relative to virtual learning and virtual training. And one of the key areas in that is the platforms, which are the Second Lives, Wonderlands, and Croquets, and connecting those back to what we call the education grid, which is an environment, a back-end server-side environment that's all about providing services to the platforms. So in our language, the education grid simply provides services, and those services are categorized into one of 3 types. One is content delivery. How do you get content, educational content, down to the platforms? The other is collaboration. How do you support virtual environments where people gather together? They have voice over IP, they share applications, and they collaborate. So those are called the collaboration services. And then there are, of course, the academic services that the education grid provides. And that's the thing that the academics really need in order to have a decent learning or training environment. And that includes assessment. How do you assess that a student or an employee has done the right things inside of a virtual environment so that they can get either the grade or the skills? And how do you post those grades if you're in academics? How do you post those grades into your institution? And how do you track students and employees for a variety of metrics and assessments? So in essence, the education grid is a collection of what we call nodes or servers on the grid, and those servers provide one of 3 types of fundamental services that are delivered down to the clients. And the clients, again, are Second Life, Wonderland, and Croquet.
We here at Greenbush, we have a couple of projects. The EduSim project, which is built on Croquet, but we're also exploring not just Second Life, but also the OpenSim server environment. And so for those listening, basically that is a server that has been kind of backwards engineered so that it does basically similar things to what Second Life does as you're viewing it through the client, but it's locally hosted and allows kind of non-age restrictions and things like that. Can you get into a little bit about, because I know we met up last week in our Greenbush grid, a little bit about how you see OpenSim, Second Life, Croquet, and Wonderland kind of all meshing together to kind of form this education grid, and kind of maybe structurally how that would work, and then how people might access, how students might access the services?
Absolutely. Well, one of the key fundamental requirements for immersive education in general, and very specifically for the education grid, is open access and open standards. So we're using the Second Life, what's called the Second Life viewer, or the client side. That's open source, but the back end right now of Second Life is not open. So you don't have access to it as a developer, and you don't have the ability as an educator to take that and run it, say, on your campus network so that you have a private environment for students. So fundamentally, technologies such as OpenSim, which are open, as you mentioned, backward engineered versions of Second Life, are allowing us to deploy what we call an end-to-end solution using Second Life. We have a front-end client, we have back-ends being OpenSim, and there are some others as well. But it really is fundamental to us that the software that we deploy and the technology that we build be open, not just for development, and that means available for us to develop and add new features to, because we do really, for education, require some very specific, unique features that aren't addressed by the platforms or the servers today. So we need that open software, but we also need the ability for educators to be able to host this software on their own networks in their own environments. And so when we look at the structure of the education grid, it is a collection of servers, and those servers have a variety of different services available to them. So, for example, the Greenbush node, which is the Greenbush server that you mentioned that we were working in together last week, that is an open SIM environment, and that is allowing people, and we'll make an announcement coming up soon, probably within the month, that allows educators and students to start kicking the tires of what is currently a very early stage development. Education Grid is still in the design phase. The clients that we selected, the platforms that we selected, are still considered second generation technology. And really what we're focused on is advancing both the clients, so the platforms themselves in terms of what they're capable of, in terms of the capabilities that they offer to educators and to students, and also advancing the Education Grid by building it out and by making the servers available for educators to use. And so to that end, we'll be announcing that the Education Grid is being lit up and that the first few nodes, the first few servers on the grid are available for educators and students to test. And this is effectively a sneak peek. It allows some people for the first time ever to be able to, for example, use Second Life but connect to a private environment where it's password protected, where they and their students can meet and have an online class, and that the content that they create, the materials that they create in that environment are theirs, and that it's hosted outside of the traditional Second Life environment. So that's an important step forward, and we're working with Greenbush very specifically on that. We also have a variety of Wonderland servers, which are back-end game servers and multi-user servers that will support the Wonderland client. And we have Croquet, and we'll make an announcement about that soon as well. Croquet has its own set of services that it requires, and so the way the Education Grid is currently being designed and built is that it offers a variety of services for all the platforms. But ultimately what we want to do in terms of education is get down to a common feature set that all the platforms support, because right now they all have different strengths and different weaknesses, just as virtual world platforms. And for education, there's a commonality that we need for all platforms, and the vision is very simple. If someone is inside of Second Life and they're enjoying their experience inside Second Life, they should be able to engage in an immersive learning experience without having to leave Second Life. Likewise, someone in Wonderland should be able to stay inside of Wonderland and not have to leave Wonderland to have the same educational experience, and the same for Croquet. And because we've designed it to be open, and it's a system that any platform can plug into, you can imagine any virtual worlds platform and, in fact, video game platforms plugging into the Education Grid for these services and allowing users of their specific platform, again being a game or a virtual worlds platform, allowing those users to have a high-grade, high-quality educational experience right from in the virtual world where they are without having to leave. That's the overarching vision of the Education Grid. End-to-end services for the clients on the front end.
And we talked a little bit last week what an exciting time it is to kind of be involved in this kind of stuff, because like you mentioned, that it is, a lot of the stuff is an alpha version. You mentioned Croquet, and some of the COBOL is pre-alpha, but really giving educators the chance to kind of look at this, take a peek at it, and kick the tires, because there's so many interesting applications that these can be used for, and it's just really exciting to be involved from Greenbush's perspective with the immersive education project and the Education Grid. We're real excited about that.
Oh, thanks, Rich, and likewise, you're absolutely right. It really is an exciting time for education and virtual worlds in general. There's a lot of momentum and a lot of excitement around it, and thanks in large part to Second Life. The educational community has now got a sense of what a virtual world is, and they're starting to really seriously apply that to education. So it's very exciting. And with the initiative in motion as it is, and with momentum we have there with our members, we're able to drive forward and make these technologies available and try to open up. And that really is a key phrase that we use all the time. Try to open it up and make it available in an open way for educators to take advantage of in the classroom so their students can benefit from this.
That is wonderful. Well, Aaron, I thank you for visiting our Second Life Island here at Greenbush and talking with us. And I want to give the website, the immersiveeducation.org, the immersiveeducation.org website for those that want more information about the Immersive Education Consortium and Initiative.
Great. Well, thanks for having me, Rich. And you're right, that's the place to visit if folks are interested in participating, or if they simply want to start using these technologies today and see what they're like. By all means, drop myimmersiveeducation.org and join. It's a free initiative. It's open to the public, and we'd love to have people come and participate with us. So thanks again for having me, Rich, and I look forward, by the way, to seeing the Greenbush node lit up on the education grid very shortly. So we're looking forward to making that announcement soon.
That'll be exciting. Thanks, Aaron.